I actually have very little notes on this one because I was like, well, I hope there's some interesting stories or something because we're doing Frankenstein the college years. So it's about two college kids who basically reconstruct a human body like Frankenstein. His actual name is Frankenstein. Frankenstein.
Frankenstein. God.
So it has a production designer on this that I've heard of.
Yeah, you've heard of.
It's back in the day when they used to put the production designer at the end of at the beginning credits, and it was the last one you usually saw. Usually,
that's right. Yeah, well, yeah. That was
I think
my
there might have
fault.
been a couple after you, but I think you were like the third or fourth one, probably.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I was there. Yeah, I was there. By the way, just an interesting note is that was actually directed by Tom Shadyac.
Yeah, yeah. And he actually did Ace Ventura, right? Pet Detective and
Ace Ventura. He did a lot. He did a lot of stuff with. He did a lot of.
Nutty Professor.
Yeah, he did a lot of stuff with Carrey, right? Jim Carrey.
Yeah, Jim Carrey. Yeah.
Yeah, he went on almost immediately.
Liar.
I might add.
Yeah.
I might add that it was like almost immediately after that show.
This was 91. This is a while ago.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost like he used this show just as a reel to go get the other shows.
Well, I was expecting this to be kind of. So I think I think I've seen this way back when, like probably on Up All Night or something with Gilbert Gottfried.
Probably, yeah.
But yeah, so I just remember being kind of like a late night movie that I saw one time, but I was expecting to be a lot more Animal House-ish, like maybe a little more edgy than it was. It's a little bit more.
Yeah, it was
clean.
It was almost straight ahead, goofy gag. It had
very
a
sterile comedy.
I don't know why. I don't know why we made it. I mean, you rarely, as a production designer, understand the entire intent of the movie that you're making. But it felt like, in the end, it felt like something for TV.
Yeah. No, I think it was a TV movie, wasn't it? I don't know. I mean, I was trying to figure that out because I was actually right before we got on.
I literally couldn't tell, but
it had that feel to it, though.
Yeah, I have to say that Larry
Miller?
Working with Larry Miller was.
I love Larry Miller. Every time I see him in anything, I like
Larry
him.
Larry Miller is really the old phrase, the comedian's comedian.
Yeah. And he's actually only one thing all the time. Like he's not anything else. He's only one thing.
He is absolutely that guy, right?
But he has that charm when he just the way he talks is like.
Oh yeah, it's just amazing. You know that voice instantly. You instantly know who he is. And working with him was a lot of fun because he is like just his encyclopedic knowledge of gags and to constantly fall into like this run of gags as you're talking to him.
He's good at being the bad guy too. The
He makes
guy.
a great comedic bad guy. He really does. I loved working with him. It's really weird because the whole show was put together kind of on the fly. Kind of like one of those.
I kind of got that feeling. It's like, hey, Mick, we need a lab, quick.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, quick. But I was surprised. I thought it looked pretty good. I thought Frankenstein's lab looked pretty good.
Oh yeah, no, I thought it was amazing. I like the thing you did. I like the beer bottle, or no, that was a beer can in a flask. I was a little over the top.
Yeah. That was. Oh, anything that you could think of. Having him sitting, the professor sitting up above everybody else.
Well, and why would a college lab when nobody's there at night? You walk in and there's like beakers smoking.
Right. Yeah. It's just.
But I like that effect.
We just played it heavy all the way through, right?
And the guy that played Frankenstein, Vincent, I can't remember his last name.
Vince Hammond.
Yeah, Vince Hammond. He went on to do a lot of things, including Star Trek Enterprise and Species.
As a matter of fact, Vincent, Vincent, Vincent was my painter, was a set painter for me.
Oh, really?
Right. And when that show started, that wasn't his first. I think that his first was Suburban Commandos.
Okay.
He was one
Yeah,
on.
you're right. Yeah, he was a mutant suitor in that one.
Yeah, yeah. He did that on Suburban Commandos. He kind of got the bug.
He was a prop maker, it looks like, for a while in a few things.
Yeah.
The Hidden. He was a driver in The Hidden.
Yeah. Yeah. He did a lot. He was in on Nightmare on Elm Street 4. He was one of my tractor drivers. He was like head tractor driver.
See, I just see him as the guy with the white hair that was in Beowulf, and it's like, like that's how I picture him.
Oh yeah.
So I didn't know who it was at first.
I've never fired anybody as often or as regularly as I fired Vince Hammond.
Wow.
He just had this way of like, he was so tall, right?
Right. Yeah.
That he would be there and I would say, yeah, I need you to dig this and do this and the next thing, he would have 3 tractors and 4 forklifts and like and I would get there by the end of the day and God damn it, what the hell is going on here? He's all these operators and everything going wrong, and it's like, well, before we could dig that hole, we had to make a new road to get in over here. He was that guy, right?
Okay, yeah.
And I didn't want to disappoint you, so he would immediately figure out the number for the office, and yeah, no, he worked on Critters too.
He was resourceful.
And yeah, you know what? I had to really appreciate his resourcefulness, and then I'd fire him, and then 2 days later I'd hire him back.
What was that? Wasn't that for looks though? Like, because you'd probably be in trouble because he spent all that money.
Oh yeah. Yeah. The easiest way to get around a horrible accounting problem is to fire the accountant. Come on, let's face it. I mean, he's not the ultimate most important person.
Right.
You could always hire him back in 2 days. It's not like everything's going to fall apart in 2 days, right?
Right.
Come on, exactly. I knew what I was doing.
Wow. Well, actually, one thing I really liked, the sculpture that, the toilet sculpture. So it's pretty mind blowing. It was
which
all those
one?
Toilet seats and the toilet paper.
Yeah.
It's kind of stuck together.
Oh, we did all kinds. I like that. We kept firing footballs out of enormous. We had these enormous air cannons, and we would fire a football, literally fire a football, and have no idea whether or not we could ever get it back because it would go so far. I mean, let's put it this way: when we fire, when he's kicking the football,
yeah,
and every time he would kick the football, we would have to fire like 5 of them out of like this, to get the right camera shot and stuff, and we had like this enormous 100-gallon air mortar on there, and it's like you couldn't even turn it down enough to get it to go less than a half a mile, right? It would like boom, and you would never see that football again, right? We just feed them in and boom. It's like I remember this one kid goes, it's like he was like on the we were using some real football teams there, for practice, to like do the milling around stuff. We had this one football player goes, well, yeah, he says, I'll just chase that sucker down for you. Boom! First time, we fire a boom, and literally by the time it started on its way down, you couldn't see it anymore. Right?
So where did it end up? On the freeway or something?
What?
Did it end up on the freeway?
I don't know. I mean, literally, I don't know, because we would just fire it. So we were at this place called College of the Canyons, and the College of the Canyons was like built in an area that up in an undeveloped area up above Newhall at that point, right? Of course, I'm sure it's 100% packed with houses now. But literally, we were firing. If you fired beyond the campus itself, it was just literally going out into the desert scrub.
Okay.
And I'm not kidding. If we were firing those suckers like 3/4 of a mile away, I don't know that for sure because we never found one.
How many lizards were killed during the filming?
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought this was kind of had the Revenge of the Nerds kind of feel to it.
It did. It very much Revenge of the Nerds feel.
But I feel like I was wishing it was edgier. But I thought it was actually kind of funny. I didn't hate this. I just thought it was really cheesy, and I actually liked how cheesy it was, especially with the monster. Like,
yeah,
when they were walking around with him, and they found out he was actually able to speak all these different languages, and
right, exactly. All of a sudden, the monster's smart, right?
But it was definitely an early '90s, cheesy cheese fest, I guess is the way to put it.
It totally had that vibe. Yeah. No, it was right along the line of Revenge of the Nerds, and
without the women.
I can't remember.
Like, it was like
if it was.
It's like Porky's without the naked people.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. It was just one. It wasn't as funny as it was like Airplane. If Airplane wasn't that funny.
Yeah, well, I thought it was. So if it was a TV movie, I can see why it was kind of tame. But
yeah, it was very.
And the
tame,
music was killing me. I'm like, oh, the early '90s. Wow.
Oh, it was such
especially that rap. I don't know, that rap theme that was going on.
Especially the beginning when he's like dialing in the radio and he dials in like one bad music, right? Montavani, and then he gets that like hard metal scratchy stuff, and then he gets in such a '90s groove.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my god, it was that, and you know what? It was that weird '90s groove that sat right in between hip hop. It sat in between hip hop and pop, and it was like nowhere near.
It wasn't in the right decade because it sounded like almost like breaking 2 kind of music. It was kind of like early '80s with the ew noise on it.
Yeah, the music was pretty lame, I have to say.
No, but I like the monster. I thought they're all pretty good. I just thought the plot was pretty lame, and but the jokes, some of the jokes were pretty funny. And Larry Miller killed it. I think he did.
Larry Miller just killed it. Larry Miller kills it wherever he is. He really is great. Yeah.
And even the professor, like before he died, I was kind of hoping I'd see him more.
Yeah. Well, you saw a lot of him up on top of
the party they had. Yeah, that was great.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I felt like the rooms were pretty, like the dorm rooms, they were pretty crowded, like with props and stuff. But I kind of liked the effect because it was like these sloppy scientists, with all these different things.
I like the there was something about all these years, and I've never seen it before.
I didn't think you had seen it. That's why I suggested it.
I mean, really, all I did was I did it. And so in watching it, all these years, I thought to myself that the party sequence, which was the last thing that we filmed, right, which was the opening thing, right, the party sequence, I thought that we just went way too far with the party sequence, right? I just thought it was too colorful and too weird.
Colorful.
and it was actually pretty interesting.
It was a really big room. I'm like, where is this?
It was a really big room. It was really hard to dress, and it just didn't matter how much stuff we put in there. It just never seemed enough.
And then you had the guy way up kind of high. That probably was an issue, wasn't it, to have him up there?
Well, I put him up there because the room was so big that we put so much stuff in it and people in it that almost immediately we lost any impact of him being dead.
Right.
And so I said, well, wait a minute, we have to completely re-rig this. And then I put him up high so that he was like kind of the dead king overlooking everything. Right?
No, that was perfect.
I thought, and that actually kind of did it. I mean, that kind of took the curse off of the whole room.
Yeah.
There is something to be said for getting into way too big of a room.
But you can't have too many skeletons.
Yeah, not in that closet you couldn't.
Actually, I kind of like the guy that was the you know the peon, the squinty guy. I thought he was pretty good. I don't think I remember.
Yeah, right. That there were. It's funny. Kind of the further down, the two guys that were supposed to be the hero guys were terrible. I mean, they were just terrible. And the girls that were with them were terrible. But some of the guys,
that was TV for sure, I think.
Yeah, but some of the guys underneath, right, that were below that, some of the character people that came in and out were pretty interesting. And that was very much like the Revenge of the Nerds thing.
Yeah, totally.
Right. You know, there was a group around them that was kind of more interesting than they were. Right.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So
how did you not like Booger?
Exactly.
So I don't know. I wouldn't give this a high rating, but I found it was fun to watch it though. I mean, I was glad I found it on YouTube, but it was a very bad quality version of it.
It is. I have to say, it is really distracting to watch it in its degraded state.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks like somebody ripped it off of a really bad VHS copy, and somebody just stood their digital camera in front of it.
I think they did,
and took the copy that we have now left, just took that off of the screen, right?
Well,
because it was
here's a sign.
The colors
I just went to yeah, no, you can see the flicker and the
colors are burning off of each other.
Every once in a while, a line would kind of roll up.
Yeah. You're going, oh,
it's like it was a VCR that had a broken head on it or something.
There's so many things that I would like to see out of the 90s. If it's in black and white, it almost always survives pretty well. But if it's in color, it could be almost anything,
Yeah, I mean, especially on videotape, or if it's shot on something like, especially if it's only on VHS. No, so this is a sign right here. I went to IMDb and looked at reviews. There's only one review. It's probably the guy that put the video up on YouTube.
What do you have to say about it?
Let's see. Bill Winham. I used to have this movie on tape. Since then, I taped over it.
Yeah.
This is posted in 2001, by the way.
Okay.
But this was one of those old TV movies that actually is funny. Not many TV movies have really been funny since the early 90s. Take, for instance, Encino Woman or Problem Child. Problem Child 3. The plot of this film, well, like I said, I hadn't seen it in years, but I do remember that Frankenstein was accidentally discovered and thought out by two young students. They tried to make, so he's talking about Encino Man. Only replaces the missing link, Brendan Fraser. I don't know. Yeah. It was just misunderstood. It sounds like he likes it, I think.
It's hard to tell.
But the real villain here is the Dean, who would later play the Dean in Eddie Murphy's movie Nutty Professor. Did he really play? Oh, he was in that, wasn't he?
He was, yeah.
Sure. Wow. Ended up realizing the student's true origins with the great line, Frankenstein. Anyway. Yeah, I didn't read the whole review because it's kind of wordy, but
yeah, it's murky. It's
Bill,
murky
come on, Bill.
At best. Yeah. Get your shit together.
Edit that. Actually, I'm gonna put my own review on there.
There you go. Do that. So anyway,
this movie had Mick Strawn as production designer. Said. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure that I want to put that in the forefront of my reel.
Well, it's on your resume. I was like, that's pretty prominent there. Can I change it somehow, like to say he's, how when it says you're known for different movies, like known for Runaway Train?
You wouldn't.
Can I change it to like known for
Frankenstein, the college years? Ugh, Jesus.
I want to see. I want to see when some of those movies you did, the TV movies, like the Fever or Calendar Girl, Cop Killer,
Fever was good.
We haven't done that one. Or
Fever was good. Ring of Musketeers was kind of interesting. Calendar Girl was abysmal. Ugh.
But some of the Hercules stuff would be interesting, especially with like some of the effects you did.
Yeah. No, it's true.
But anyway, so
We
you
can
have
do it
a nice long resume. I'm not trying to make fun of it, but
No,
maybe
leave that
this
to me.
one. I mean, you stepped up when you did Revenge of the Nerds 3, The Next Generation, because that was a little bit better than this one. So
Yeah, yeah, kind of the same thing, only different.
right. Well, this was not as good as Hollywood Dog. Actually, no, I think it was better. Actually, now that I think about it, not as good as Strays,
That is good straight.
but and not even close to The Hidden. So there you go.
Yeah, not even close to hidden. Yeah, there you go. You know, you don't want to go into some of the murkier films that I did. Some of the dregs of the collection there. You know.
Well, no, I mean this was early on, wasn't it? In your career, it was kind of like so you had to do what you had to do.
Yeah, it's true.
I'm pretty confident this was a TV movie because I'm looking at all the movies around it. They all say TV movies, so I'm like,
Yeah,
okay.
I'm sure it's. You know
But
what?
Mantis, you moved up. Oh man, Mantis was a killer show. So there you go.
Yeah, Mantis was really good. I mean, Mantis was yeah, it was good looking.
I mean, what am I saying? Look at my resume. Wow, look at how long that is.
So if I had to put a number on this, I think that I would really do 2.5.
Really? Okay, I'm it's like I'm looking at 2.2 maybe, because I like some of the things like the sculpture.
Yeah, now there you go.
But I wonder what kind of budget you had. So I know you probably didn't have a lot to work with. And
yeah, I don't think I did. I don't know. It's pretty standard. There was standard budgets for those.
But I mean, what a great director. And then like it's interesting to know what he moved on to. And Larry Miller, he's been in a lot of things since then. And even Vince.
Yeah,
I mean,
even Vince did a lot of stuff, right?
Star Trek Enterprise. It was kind of.
And you know what? Here's the funny thing about Vince is, I think I contacted him maybe 2 years ago, and he was still working at Universal as a carpenter.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he never stopped doing that and went and did monsters or anything, you know.
See, I like the guys that are actors, but they do other things too, like they're production designers or they're like prop makers or whatever.
Yeah. It keeps them grounded.
Yeah,
it really does. Yeah.
There you go.
Here it is. We're, I mean,
maybe
grounded?
Maybe watch it as kind of while you're doing something else. Watch this movie.
Yeah, put it in the
different
background.
room. Put it on in one room.
If there were a better copy of it out there, I would say.
Oh no, totally. I think we probably missed some good detail. Probably.
Oh yeah,
it's hard to watch.
It is hard to watch. I mean, that is the lowest resolution of anything I think I've seen in a long time. I have to say, I honestly think that somebody did just set a camera in front of it and just run it, you know? Yeah.
Well, I think Strays, the copy we had for Strays wasn't that great either.
Yeah, but there are some good copies of Strays out there. I know people. There are people who have offered me better versions of Strays. You know, which I'm like, why would I?
I want them. No, actually, I thought Strays was a good movie.
Strays was like I say, Strays is actually a movie that still has its own little core of fans out there.
Do they give away those little? Do you give away those clickers with your face on them? Like,
yeah. No.
That was a callback to episode 102, I think. Or I don't know.
It was.
Probably 34. But yeah, I think we've done some damage here. I don't know where we can go from here, but
I think we're done with all this.